Live with Lloyd. I'm your host, Lloyd Strayhorn, on this Monday. Hold on, let me do this. Okay, everybody. Thank you very much for those who will be joining us this evening. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. The attitude for me is with numerology. It is where the joy of numerology is actually the joy of learning and listening, and it's also enlightening too. It's a very fascinating thing. But before I go on, I want to let people know that I want to thank the Sound of Knowledge bookstore out in Newark this weekend at 867 Broad Street in Newark, New Jersey. I was there this past Saturday. It was just a tremendous response that I got from people. And so for those that were there, I thank you very, very much for stopping by. It was really, really great. Okay, let me, I do the cosmic forecast. The sun is still in the sign of Leo. Up until this morning, up until 10:50, the moon was also in the sign of Leo. But after 10:50 a.m. this morning, it shifted into Virgo. Okay, so if those who are born, and this is again is why an astrologer would need to know your exact time and date and place of birth to tell where your moon is. Your moon represents the way you think. You can't, we all got the way of what we think. It don't mean because we're thinking that way that we're going to advertise to people how we're doing. Well, your moon does that. So persons who have a moon in the sign of Leo are normally more daring, more confident, more expressive. They're more reassured, things of that nature. Okay. Well, now that it's shifted into Virgo as of 10:50 this morning, a Virgo moon represents people who are a little bit more mentally reserved. They question, they analyze. So everybody brings to the table their own skill sets of what they do. On Wednesday, when we come back on, it'll go into Libra at 4:08 in the afternoon. So right now, the moon is in Virgo. So for those that are born between between late this morning through Wednesday afternoon, that's where your moon is. So if you're having a mom that's about to have a child, especially in the Wednesday after 4 o'clock, the moon will shift from Virgo into Libra. It is also a 4 universal month. Now, for those that want to know, what does that mean? And what it means is when a 4 cycle, it indicates this is a month to be more expressive. I shouldn't say expressive. This is the month to more to have yourself together. Because 4 represents structure, foundation, the 4 points. Okay. And how I was determined the universal month is you take the year presently, which is 2021, you add it to the 8th position month, and that adds up to 13, and 1 plus 3 is 4. So that means Aquarians are likely to do well this month. Leos are likely to do well this month. In a minor way, Geminis are likely to do well this month, as well as anybody who may be born on the 1st or the 4th, the 10th or the 13th, the 19th to 22nd, 28th or 31st of the month. They are the ones to do it. A question. Questions was asked of me, okay, Lloyd, of the 2 systems that I discussed, which one is the preferred system? Which one is better? Actually, they're both good. In fact, let me show you on the screen what it looks like. Again, this is when I was talking last week about the systems. As you see at the top is the Pythagorean system, okay? And as you see, it's kind of laid out in a very organized way. The numbers are running across from 1 to 9. And in fact, it corresponds with the alphabet. So if you look at the letter J, that's the 10th letter in the alphabet. So 1 plus 0 is 1. That makes sense. If you look at Q, for example, that's the 17th letter in the alphabet. 1 plus 7 is 8. So this is why it's easy to learn. And in fact, when I teach this in colleges or classrooms or on my basic course, Learn from Lloyd, How to Read a Person Like a Book, this is the system I start out with. It is easier. If you look at the Chaldean, when you drop down, you see it's like the numbers are all over the place, okay? It's over here, the G is over there, the P is over there. Like, what's up with that? And so thus it requires a little bit more memory. As to which one is better, I can tell you this. They both are good. It's like say you're taking a car, right? Somebody's got a preference for their car. Somebody might like, for example, this style of a car. Somebody might like another style of a car. But the point is that they all are effective at some way, shape, or form. Okay. So that's the point. So it's not that one is bad, one is the other, and stuff like that. But let me go back and also show you too what I'm saying versus the system. So if you look at it, the one thing about the Chaldean system, the Pythagorean system at the top. There are two schools, at least here in the Western Hemisphere, as we know it. The Pythagorean, which is called modern numerology, and the Chaldean, which is mystic numerology, okay? With the Pythagorean, the theory is you must take, ideally, the name a person was born in. So when I meet adults, yes, when we, on our birth certificates, we may have 3, 4, 5 names, something like that. On average, it's about 3 or 4, sometimes longer. It all depends on what part of the human family a person is born in. And so that's one thing if a baby is just born, just say this morning. But when we become adults, we normally shorten it to 2 names, a first and a last name. And so this causes problems. So if you're trying to stick to this rigid rule of the Pythagorean and trying to do it in a way that they say, well, you got to take the month, the day, and the year you were born. The birthday that you were given at birth. I don't know. I'm a little, whatever the case is. Anyway, the point is that by the time we reach adults, I can assure you, normally if we had 3 or 4 names on our birth certificates, we're only using basically a first and last name. Thus, I like the Chaldean system. The Chaldean system, known as mystic numerology, says you must take the name that you are using. And this is very important. So you can have a person with all those names, but basically, for the most part, you take the name that they most known by. So therefore, I have learned how to, my preference, if I'm meeting with a client and we're spending their time and their hard-earned money, this is the system I use. But when I teach it, I teach the more 1 to 9 approach. And this one, as you see, if you looked at it, it only went from 1 to 8. But in the Chaldean philosophy, the 9 was so sacred, so revered, that they did not even use that. But if your name added up to a 9, then that would be included. So it took me a while to get used to it. But basically, for the most part, I got to tell you, I was definitely into the Pythagorean, but I do both. They both get you to your destination. You know, it all depends on the style that you want to do it in or whatever, but that is the case. So now, I want to talk today. The topic is about numbers and their rulership. Do you know numbers rule almost anything you can imagine? It rules your occupations. It rules your preferences. It rules your relationships. It rules your best days and dates and months and years and ages. It rules the cities you live in. This will explain why a person will go to one city and find good fortune, and another person go to that same city and may meet with disaster. So because each number or each city or whatever has a numerical frequency, I want you to understand that. So what I want to do was just do briefly, and this is going to be a part 1 because, and if you want to, in my book, Numbers and You, which is a best-selling book, by the way, on page 47, you'll see numbers and their rulership. There are many, but what I'm going to do is just critique it. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you so you can go along with me on this, okay? Now, it may be a little long, but we will, see how we do it, okay? Now, for example, when I look at this, number 1 is, now in numbers, there's masculine and feminine. It's not the way we think about it, like male, female. in the sense that masculine metaphysically means people who are more proactive in approaching a situation, and the feminine is more like mental in their approach. Both of them serve a purpose. One is just more assertive, one is more mental in their approach. So the number one is masculine in nature. It is ruled by the sun, and it represents the sign of Leo in the fifth house. And it also has rulerships over large and imposing buildings, official headquarters, royal palaces, hills, forests, and convention halls. There's a lot. I mean, I just had to extrapolate some of these from the book, but if you want to go deeper, I would recommend that you go to the book for more, because that's why we're going to do a part 2 on Wednesday. For the number 2, it is feminine in nature and is ruled by the moon, and it represents the sign of Cancer in the 4th house. And 2 has rulership over bodies of water, whether they're oceans, lakes, ponds, creeks, beaches, docks, public places, fishing industry. The number 3 is masculine. If you notice, all the odd numbers are masculine and all the even numbers are feminine. It doesn't deal with the gender as relate to male or female as so much as their method of approach to a problem-solving situation. That's all. So 3 is masculine in nature. It's ruled by Jupiter. The good luck planet represents the signs of Sagittarius and the 9th house, in the 9th house, and Pisces in the 12th house. And 3 has rulership over houses of worship and theaters and government buildings, fairs, children's centers, even exhibit halls. But again, there are more definitions to it, because you would be surprised these numbers rule many, many things. The number 4 is feminine in nature and is ruled by Uranus and represents the sign of Aquarius in the 11th house. And 4 has rulership over radio and television stations, generators, odd and unusual buildings, nuclear plants, mental institutions, power stations, to name a few. Then if you look at the number 5, that's masculine in nature. It is ruled by Mercury, that represents Gemini in the 3rd house, Virgo in the 6th house, and it has rulership over highways, which makes sense because 5 is about motion and movement, and it rules public schools and playgrounds, also shopping malls and high places, also communication centers and places of commerce. Number 6, that is feminine in nature. It is ruled by Venus and and the reason why I'm doing this, so yes, I mean, I could do this without the screen, but this way it gives you an idea so you can read it, take a screenshot, get your camera, take a picture, whatever. But preferably if you got my book, okay, you can save yourself all of that and just go, but there's much more details in the book, okay, about all of this. This is just like a tease, so to speak, all right? So it is ruled by Venus and the sign, excuse me, the number 6 is feminine in nature. It is ruled by Venus. It represents the sign of Taurus in the 2nd house, and Libra in the 7th house. And it has rulership over institutional buildings, museums, daycare centers, beautiful homes, fields and pastures, art galleries, health centers. It also has dominion over real estate too. 7 is a masculine number in nature. It's ruled by the moon in the past and Neptune in the present. What I'm saying is that there were certain numbers that were like in astrology. For example, Pisces was once ruled by Jupiter. Now it's ruled by Neptune. Scorpio was once ruled by Mars. Now it's ruled by Pluto. Okay. So this is what I'm saying. So there's the old definition. I always explain to my students too. Hold on. So we can kind of look at each other a second. Okay. I explain to my students that if anything, you need to know what the original 7 planets are that govern these zodiac signs, okay? So Mercury governs Gemini and Virgo. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. But when it came to the sign of Pisces, and also, for example, they did the same with Aquarius, okay? Aquarius was once originally ruled by the planet of Saturn. Now it is ruled by Uranus. So originally the ruler of Aquarius is the number 8 in the 10th house, but now it's ruled by Uranus, okay? So these are the things to kind of keep in mind. So as I tell a student, if you're ever confused or not sure Always go by the original 7 planets and you will have no problems. Okay, let's get back to this a second so we can finish this up. Okay, so now moving forward. So with the 7, did I do everything? Okay, yes. It rules all houses of worship. In other words, what's so interesting when it comes to religion, and you know, religions, different religious groups and philosophies have all they're going back and forth, and my God is superior than your God, etc. Well, when it comes to the number 7, every single major religious body believe that 7 is a sacred number. That's about the only thing that would bring all the religions together, which is why it rules all houses of worship, not just some, but all houses of worship. Also, space exploration, deep sea exploration. It rules the woods and the forest. Also, it rules the movie industry, believe it or not. It also rules science and research projects and conventions, as well as shipping centers. If you look at the number 8, okay, that is ruled by, it's feminine in nature. It's ruled by Saturn. It represents the sign of Capricorn in the 10th house. 8 has its rulership over banks and financial institutions, cemeteries and burial sites and antique shops and archaeology sites and real estate and nursing homes. And then finally, number 9, there's masculine in nature. It is ruled by Mars in the past, Pluto in the present, because Aries is still assigned to Mars, but Mars also rules Scorpio, has now been assigned to Pluto. So again, this is where having astrological knowledge of these things are important, okay? And it rules, first of all, it rules the military. It rules anything that deals with munitions, also slaughterhouses, fire and police stations, munitions plant, the automobile industry. And in fact, under the Chaldean system, the city of Detroit is a number 9, and they refer to Detroit as the Motor City. I think they still do that. But anyway, let me see this. I'm gonna take this off now so we can see each other. And by the way, for everybody that tuned in last time, thank you very, very much. Let's open up our chat line and see what's going on. All right, then. Okay, let me see. Okay, Kira Winters. Hi, Kira Winters. How are you? By the way, before we start answering this, I want to let you know I'm going to be having a number of guests on. I think it's going to start before this month is over. I know there's one person I'm going to have specifically, and that's Brother Francis Rebelsbay. Brother Francis Rebelsbay and I started back in the day. I mean, no question. There was this UCLA in Harlem called the University on the corner of Lenox Avenue, called the Tree of Life Bookstore. Most of the people who've gone on to be outstanding in their fields wind up cutting their teeth on that corner on Lenox Avenue and 125th Street. Well, one of the first persons I met, and even a guest on my show, was Francis Rebelsbay, who is a numerologist. He's written books. His whole thing is the Circle of Grace, because his mother's name was Grace. So, but he has such an interesting story. I talk about a guy that can weave a story to keep you engaged. Then next, I'm going to have Khalil Washington, because we were back in the day too, okay, of WLIB, WBLS radio. And then we're going to bring it up current from people like my brother King Simon and Kaya French and Brandon Smith and Jackie Levine. And I'm gonna have a whole array of guests, old age, new age, whatever the case is. But I want to say this. There was a young lady, Abena, about a week or two ago that says she does tarot. I don't know whether she's reached out to me, but please do, because I would like to feature you on any branch of the metaphysics that can raise the consciousness, the kundalini, call it what you will. I would appreciate that very much, because I like sharing and I like people to have knowledge and whatnot. By the way, what's this? Click? No, not click. Share, like, and subscribe. I'll get to all this. It may take me a minute, but if you like this, share it. If you want to, subscribe to it. This is strictly up to you. And what we're going to do, I'm going to answer some of the questions you may have. Let me see, go back to birthdays, Chanel. Okay. Let me see. How's this going? Okay, there we go. Now I got it. All righty, so there's a Patricia. Patricia, thank you very much. And by the way, the name has great power, more than people can imagine. And then there's Tom, and Tom says he is October. Let me see. Let me put him up on the screen. Tom is born on October the 15th, all right? Now, what happens is, if you look at his birthday, remember when I was talking about the elements, all right? So for those who know this part of the year, Libra, it is ruled by the element of air. But what happens is I tell most people, yes, they know their sign, but until they meet me, they are a sign and a number. So let's say you took somebody born, say December 24th, okay? Well, that person is a Capricorn, which is an earth sign, but because they're born on the 26th, which is an earth number, they are an earth sign with an earth number, which means they would be very pragmatic, very grounded, very common sense, okay? Not a whole lot of foolishness now. They can party and have a good time like everybody else, but at the end of the day, they know how to keep it real. Well, this person, Tom, is a little different. He is an air sign with an earth number. So that means he uses reasoning powers, and at the same time, he uses the practical side of his nature too. Sometimes this might present a little challenge, not in a bad way. For example, with the earth sign, they like to use things that make sense. They're a little conservative. But with an air element, it means they could be all over the place. They could be scattering, all depending. Not all air signs are scattering, but I'm just saying these will be some of the things that might be. But I can tell you this, that from this person, I can tell him and I can predict accurately that next year is going to be his year, beginning just before his birthday in this year. Now, why do I say that? And I'm glad somebody asked me that question too. Because of the fact that if you look at 2022, those numbers, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. Well, 6 is ruled by Venus, as I was talking about rulership. And Venus has dominion over Taurus. So they're going to go to the head of the class. And Librans, he's going to go to the head of the class. But not only that, not only because he's a Libra, which is favoring those. If you notice, he's born on the 15th day. 1 plus 5 is 6. So he would be my new best friend, Tom T.J. Johnson, okay? He would be my new best friend for the year. That's what I can say, all right? The beauty about the cosmos, everybody gets a turn. Everybody, but you just got to be patient. And because we live in a world of instant gratification, just say water, well, you know, people just say, okay, when can I get it? How fast can I get it? But it's about taking your time, all right? So, okay, so let's go to this person here. And this person is Rene. Now, here is another interesting example. Born in May, they would say, okay, this person is a Taurus. Absolutely correct. But if you look at the number, it's a fire number. So this person would be practical yet passionate, down to earth yet action oriented. Okay. So she would appear to be sweet. So in a relationship, if you think that you're going to domesticate her and therefore, you know, a woman's place is in the home, which I ain't heard that in decades. And by the way, that is going by way of the dinosaur too. That this particular person is definitely born to be a leader, because all ones like to have some authority over others, because that's why winners come in number one. Okay, they're the first to do this and the first to do that. And here's what I'm saying about Rene too. Let's say she has about 3 or 4 brothers and sisters, right? That tells me she may have been the first to leave the home, the first to go to school, the first to finish school. Number one, people I notice, regardless of the sign you're in, but if you're born on the 1st, the 10th, the 19th, or the 28th of the month, normally you are known as your groundbreakers. They will say, you know, Rene, you're the first woman to do this, or you're the first sister to do this. And she'll say, really? Although that was never their intention, but nonetheless, that's what seems to happen. This is why number ones are normally your groundbreakers. And normally it wasn't the intention to say, well, I'm going to break a record. But you will find that more than likely, and she could have been the youngest of the brothers and sisters, but yet at the same time, be the first to go out on her own. So let's see who this person is, okay? This is, I think, Nikki Davenport. Now, Nikki, she's born on the same day as the United States, okay? She is a July 4th. Happy belated birthday last month, okay? She is a water sign with an air number. See, as I was saying before, if you understand the nature of the elements, that'll help you even in the reading, and you don't have to say, well, Cancer, that rules the fourth house, and it does this, that, and the other. It's the sign of the mother, and all the representatives thereof associated with this sign in this house in the fourth position of the zodiac. But nonetheless, water means feelings, emotions, hunches, intuitions, a sense of, and see with water signs, like Cancers and Scorpios and Pisces, they don't, it's like, how do you know? Well, they don't know in that sense. They just know. And this is why they're water, because it rules emotions and feelings and hunches. But yet she's an air number, which means logic. So she will have a kind of a dilemma, not a bad dilemma, okay? In a sense that her senses will be telling her one thing, her emotions or whatever, her intuitions. And yet if she doesn't act on it long enough, the logical side of her nature will overrule it. So because she is a sign of Cancer, and Cancer, because each sign rules a part of the body, rules the stomach. So let's say she gets a feeling about something and she get this tingling or feeling inside of her tummy, right? Well, that should be her clue. And in another situation where, she's trying to decide on the logic. So I'm sure she'd mastered that when her logic is saying something and she needs to go that route, and when her hunches are. So, sometimes we men are saying, well, honey, so-and-so, and they just get that feeling that don't go away. That's Nikki. All right. So I would not try to use that approach on Nikki. That's for sure. That would not be the best approach. And then once the logic kicks in, everybody is in, it's going to be interesting. So let's take this person here. This person is Melanie Hall. Now, this is a very interesting thing because she is an air sign with a fire number. Now, these are elements that go very well together. That's why they will tell you, like in Greece, I was understanding there's a huge fire. And like in California, there's these huge fires. Almost always that's driving these fires, that's unstoppable at points, is the air. I think in California, there's the Santa Ana winds. I don't know what it is in Greece, but I know the people had to get up off the island, one of the major islands there in Greece. They had to get up because the fire was just ridiculous. They said it almost looked like a horror movie. But the point is, fire number means people who are action oriented. So let's say you got a brother dealing with Melanie, right? And he's talking a whole lot of smack, which we men can do sometime, okay? I can tell him she's not the one. You can talk that talk like, yo, boo, I got this car, I got all this, that, and the other. Well, trust me, she's going to make sure, oh, you do? Let's see what we're going to do. Then all of a sudden, she's not a lot of fun. But I will say this, from her birthday, if you come from the side of truth and all your intentions are honorable, more than likely you'll get the best from her because she is a leader in her own right, too. All right? She doesn't take orders well. And if you have issues of being put in check, so to speak, where she's going to check her brother and get you straight. And Melanie, you're not all that bad. I know it sounds like that, but that's not really true. You're a nice person, but she just don't take no stuff. And I could save everybody a lot of wear and tear. This is not the sister you go to with that kind of drama. You come real or you don't. And then you find that she is very sweet, inspirational, motivational, whatever the case is like that. All right, so let's take, let's see, who's this person here? This is Amanda. Now, Amanda is an Aquarius. She is an air sign with an earth number. Now, this in astrological terms would be squared. In other words, there's a side of her that's very logical. That's the reasoning side. And then there's a side where she's very pragmatic and very grounded and very down to earth. It also tells me too, she has a good sense of duty and responsibility. It also tells me that next year coming up will be her year, because anybody born on the 6th, the 15th, 1 plus 5 is 6, or the 24th, 2 plus 4 is 6, they are going to be the ones that go to the head of the class, because 2022 adds up to a 6. Real simple. The numbers don't change. They just don't change. You just got to wait your turn. And if you're rushing, you may have to wait a minute, okay? Because that's how it works in nature, right? But anyway, she's a fixed sign. She's very determined in her own way. And it also indicates that she has great taste. And because she's an earth number, earth, I find with earth women particularly, are normally very traditional. Their style of dress is very classic and timeless. I would say she normally doesn't get into fads per se, the latest this, that, and the other that people are going to be wearing, and then 3 months later it's out of style. I'm saying what she got in the wardrobe, she probably bought years ago. Okay, it looks good on her now. And by the way, blue is her favorite color, because believe it or not, everybody, each number also rules a color. So now let's see who this person is. Okay, and okay, this is D3 Destiny, and I think we did her last time because she is an earth sign. I mean, excuse me, she's a water sign with a fire number. So actually, if I was to do her personal year, now I'm sure somebody says, Lloyd, how did you do that? Simple. That's the beauty of numerology. What you do, anytime you want to know what's going on in the present moment, no matter what year in the past, the present, or the future, right? You take the month you were born and add the day you were born. But instead of adding the year you were born, you add the year in question. So mentally, I says, okay, June the 28th, added to this year, 2021, she's in a 3 personal year. So this is a career cycle. This is a good luck cycle. This is a cycle for her to expand. This is a cycle that also deals with, to the extreme, legal or semi-legal matters. This is the cycle that rules games of chance. This is a cycle that uses self-improvements and also striking a balance. It also tells me back in late February, March, okay, under the water sign, that's maybe she changed her hairstyle or her dress, or decided she was going to get into the gym, all depending on how these codes are going now. But to get involved in some kind of weight loss or exercise program. But as we talk this month of August, it tells me right now she's in a holding pattern. She's got to take her time. She's got to take it easy. Right now, this particular week cycle she's going through, it tells me she has to be more structured and organized. She's trying to have a game plan that she's putting in place. There's a good possibility of her traveling next week too. Now, all of this sounds amazing, and it is. And what I do is I teach my students how to do this also. So it almost sounds like I'm a psychic. No, 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 no. I will say this. Anything you do develop a second nature, okay? And that part is true. But what I'm saying is these numbers act as a guide. They act as symbols or representatives of things that give indicators or forecasts of something. And all one has to do is learn the art of interpretation, which is what I do, and which is what I teach my students as well. Okay. So she is a water sign with a fire number. Now that might seem kind of contradictory. And here's what I'm saying. On one hand, very emotional, yet on the other hand, very passionate, very driven. So she would not be the typical Cancer that you would say, okay, she's nurturing, mothering. You know, I like how sometimes we guys say, oh, she's I call it dependable or codependent or something, or needy. That's the term I heard guys use sometimes with the sisters. Oh, she's needy. No, she don't need you. Okay. That now you want to get your feelings hurt? You take that approach with this person born on that birthday, and D3 baby will say, okay, I got something for you up in here. Okay. And the next thing you know, you'll be needy. You'll be needy of some company and everything else for that matter. Okay, let's see what else we got. Who else we got? This is fun. Let me see. This is, and you're welcome, Amanda. You're welcome. I hope it did it justice. Okay, this one is Lady E. Boyd. Now here you met your match, okay? Because she's a fire sign with a fire number. So that means when you step to this sister, you better keep it real, okay? Let's say, for example, let's say, here's some illustrations I get. We men will sometimes say that women don't want to hear the truth. That's not lady. So, for example, let's say you're talking to her and you're trying to get to know her, and she says, "Well, listen, Lloyd, you dealing with somebody?" She would appreciate me more if I says, I am, but I'm kind of feeling you too. Okay. She would respect me more if I come with that approach than the approach of like, nah, I ain't dealing with nobody. I'm all by myself and I'm looking for my queen and whatnot. And she find out later that's not true. Because let me tell you this, I'm going to tell you, especially to the men listening to us, listening to me, I've never met a stupid woman. I don't care who they are. Now, you got some women that are slow. I ain't going to front with that one. That's true. But I've never met a stupid woman, a woman that don't find out eventually what the deal is. So with this sister in particular, you better come straight or you better leave it alone and go to somebody else that you think you can do this to. But she would not be the one. And she's not that bad. But see, here's the point also. Each number rules a sign. So when I was talking about numbers in their rulership, well, the number 1 represents the sun and is the ruler over Leo. So her number is in her natural home, which would only bring out this dynamism in this woman. Therefore, I know she's either a leader, a manager, supervisor, director, entrepreneur. But the one thing about it is she's straight, no chasing. What you see is what you get. That's not bad, right, lady? Anyway, let's see who else. What I do is I try to make this fun, but let me tell you this. I am very, very serious about this. It says, which of my books talks about the elements and their numbers? It is this book right here. It is my all-time classic, Numbers and You. And in fact, I'll tell you a little bit about this because 2 out of 4 of my books have made a very distinct record. And I love you too, Kira. By the way, I'm not going to be having guests on. Let me see who we got here on this one. Okay. Okay. We got Ladybug. Yes, you are on point. See, this is what I'm saying. And I don't even know the sister, but I know the numbers. And what happens is, imagine if you had this kind of knowledge how to deal with not only your relationships, your children, your neighbors, your brothers and sisters, your parents, your boss, your co-workers, your friends and comrades and frenemies and enemies. It'll just take you to a whole different level of doing things. And to thine own self be true. This is why we want somebody to always think like us, and it's not going to happen for the most part, all right? Okay, let's see. This person here is, okay, Tasha. Now, Tasha is a Libra. She's an air sign with a fire number. These are very complementary to each other. So that means she's passive. But let me tell you about Libras. First of all, it is the only sign in the zodiac that is ruled by a symbol, not an animal, not a human figure, but a symbol. And it's normally about balance. And so normally when you refer to Venus that rules this sign, it is about beauty and balance and justice, okay? When you add to it the fire component, which is her birthday, that means she is a person that brings to whatever she does a lot of get up and go. She probably started out life as a young girl, babysitting, selling lemonade, something. 3 women are very ambitious. So guys, let me tell you, if you're dealing with anybody born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month, you got to have your stuff together. Normally in relationships, number 3 women don't do bums. You can't be trifling when you step to a number 3. Sorry, because they like to go places. They want to be somebody in life. And more than likely, this is one of the things that Tasha has said for herself, that she has a track record of always being about doing something. And she's very career oriented too. So let's say, Tasha, now that you Mrs. Strayhorn, you're going to stay home. She might be working, but she says, you know what? I want you off at 5. I want you at 5:30. I want dinner on my table every night at 6. That might work for about a week or 2, okay? But she's going to say, honey, if it's all that, why don't we hire somebody to come up in here and clean up this house here and make some dinner because I'm running late. Because 3 people are normally very conscientious. 3 people pride themselves in being persons of their word. If they say they're going to do something, you can depend on them to do it, all righty? So not to get in your business, Tasha, I'm sure that's some of it. And by the way, 3s are natural flirts too. This is Makeba, I think. Yes. And Makeba, oh, she says she's born at 6:20 Eastern ATL. Makeba, I don't know what that means, but let me do something a second. So that's 4. Okay, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15. The name Makeba adds up to 15. That tells me, okay, but one of your parents was either a Taurus or a Libra, or born on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th, or perhaps on a wild hunch, the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month too. The name Makeba also tells me that you are always about a work in progress, wanting to make something of yourself, things of that nature, got great taste, and read people like a book. That's what because see, the name tells you something too. See, here's the thing. Let's say you walk up to a person, right? And more than likely, a stranger at a bus stop or a train station will give you their name before they give you a birthday. Because everybody knows, don't, see, she said her dad was a Libra and born on the 24th, see? And I don't know her. I don't think I do anyway. But it just goes to show you that if once you get this kind of esoteric knowledge, the level that it puts you at in terms of interacting with people, being intelligent about who you deal with. And she said, and she did sell lemonade when she was young. Okay, I'm all in her business. Not really. I just know the nature of numbers. That's why I want everybody, if possible, to learn this. When I first came across this, my notion was everybody walking this planet Earth should really be into this because it'll help you so much understand yourself, your people, the ones you love, the mates that you marry. And why is it we fall in love with a person, then about 10 or 15 years, we say, going the opposite way. But these are good. This is very good. Now let's take another person. Okay. Now this is Kenya Davis Underwood. Good evening. If you're doing live readings, well, I like doing this anyway. But this person is a fire sign with a water number. This person is born the same day as Angela Bassett. Okay. So what that means with Kenya, okay, let me do his name. That's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So Kenya, whoever named you that, suggested maybe one of your parents was either Gemini or Virgo, or born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd, or the 6th, 15th, or 24th of the month. Because you got to understand the name is more powerful than the birthday. Well, the birthday is constant. Your name can change. Marital reasons, religious reasons, philosophical reasons, I never liked my name reasons. But that birthday is the constant needle that points north in your life. And that's what determines the direction that you take, where you go, your days and the weeks, your dates in the months, your months in the years, your years and ages, and of all the important changes that go on. All of this is in my book. So this person, it tells me, and then first, I will say this. You know, there's a cycle that goes, the personal year cycle goes from January to December. Well, in my book, also, I explained there's another cycle that goes from birthday to birthday called the Rosicrucian cycle, okay? In the Rosicrucian cycle, notice the divisions of 7. The Rosicrucian cycle is broken into 7 divisions. Each division is 52 days in length. 5 plus 2 is 7, okay? What happens is when the person is coming back around to their birthday, like this person's birthday is going to be really in a matter of, 7 days, okay? That tells me this person has been in their critical cycle since about maybe late June, July. And what happens is the Rosicrucians mean just that. I didn't name it the critical cycle. The Rosicrucian said it's the critical cycle, which means this is the point coming back around to your birthday where things begin to break down. This is when things, if you meet a tide of resistance, or there's some static or some problems or some challenges, this is normally the time just before your birthday. And if you notice with a lot of people, and one example I give is Marvin Gaye was shot and killed one day before his birthday on April 1st, 1984 in California. Okay, Teddy Pendergrass, the singer, was paralyzed 52 days before his birthday on March the 26th. There are so many examples. Now, it doesn't mean that one has to be shot. No. It doesn't mean that one has to be paralyzed. No. It just simply means you will be surprised if you pay attention when you hear about some challenge that goes on in a person's life, they'll mention, and their birthday would have been so-and-so, almost nearby. So what I'm saying is take it easy, Kenya. Don't let nobody stress you, Kenya. Okay. And whatever you do on the day of your birthday, that starts the new cycle all over again. So the first 52 days of the day of your birthday is called your reputation cycle, which means whatever Kenya Davis Underwood wants, Kenya Davis Underwood is likely to get, which is why they refer to it as your reputation cycle. So therefore, if there is you have to deal before a court, you got to sign a deal, you got to do something very significant. Normally, this is the best time to do it. But right now, I would tell you, like this person says, listen, Lloyd, I'm going to have surgery on Friday, or I want to have surgery on Friday. Unless it's imperative that they must have this procedure, that's one thing. But if it's an elective, I would say, why don't you wait until the day of your birthday, and preferably after your birthday, when the new reputation cycle kicks in, when you kind of revived and stuff. There is a metaphysical science to all of this stuff. This is no secret. This has been known for ages. Timing is everything. This is why they'll say that person was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Well, if you stick with this show that I keep doing twice a week, you will learn how to be in the right place at the right time in perfect harmony with the universe, because that is my objective. Okay. And you will be surprised how easy your life becomes. It will almost become magical. I know that sounds corny, but it's true. You'd be like, whoa. Okay. Let's see who else we got here. Okay. When I did the Kenya, they said that mom was, I think the dad was on the 24th, which is a 6. I was saying the number would either be a 5 or 6. So there it is. The mom is born on December the 24th. Okay. Thank you so much for that confirmation. All right. Let's see who else we got here. Let me look at my time because I'm having fun right now at this point. Okay. Let's see. Okay, everybody. Okay, granddaughter born. Okay. Oh, okay, here we go. Somebody, okay. This is Tasha again. And she says, did I do it? Yeah, okay. Tasha says that her granddaughter was born on April the 26th, 2004. She asks, could you read? Oh, yeah, without question. The reason why, this is my mother's birthday. Okay, born on August the 26th. If you've ever saw Hidden Figures, that great movie with the women where they talked about computers, which means they were using their heads, okay? That's where the computer, everybody got a computer. Is what we do or don't do with what we have in our minds. But the point is, the main character, Katherine Johnson, that is also her birthday. They built a building. They named a building after her down at Nassau, too, okay? And she got a Congressional Medal of Honor from President Obama before he left office, okay? So this lady is very mature, your granddaughter. She's very serious-minded. And because she's an earth sign with an earth number, that means everything has to make sense to her, or what are we talking about, okay? And that's how she does it. She's very mature. When she was younger, you probably had to ask, honey, who you been talking to? Where do you get that? Because she's very philosophical, very intense, very dedicated. If she plays her cards right, she's going to do very well. Now, Virgo is a late blooming sign. 8 is a late blooming number, which tells me that she's going to do very well, but normally it will be between her 33rd and 35th birthday that everything is going to turn itself around. She's not there yet, but up the road of life, if she lives that long, and yes, she will see that, you know what, somewhere around my mid-30s, that's when I start to get a handle on things. But number 8, people, because she's born on the 8, 2 plus 6 is 8. 8 is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is known as the planet of fate or destiny. For example, she may think she's going to marry one person, but why not marry another person? She might think she's going to go into this field of endeavor, but as fate or destiny happens, she goes into another field of endeavor. So it's not like she doesn't have control over herself. It's just that the nature of an 8, where fate seems to kind of also take a hand with it too. All righty. So anyway, I'm looking at the time here, and what I'm going to do is go into wind down mode. But I will say this though, in closing, for those, I want you to go to my website. I'll take one more. That's Kelly Hernandez. Here we go with Kelly. Kelly is a fire sign with an air number, which is a nice blend. That means she likes to be different. It's interesting, 8s and 4s. 8 is ruled by Saturn, 4 is ruled by Uranus. Both these numbers, or planets, if you were to interpret them that way, are planets of fate or destiny, odd and unusual. So that tells me that Kelly has had a very odd and unusual life, primarily being misunderstood for the most part, having very few friends. I mean, she may know a ton of people, but if I says, how many friends do you have? By the time she gets about that third or fourth finger, she's looking for more. I'm talking about real friends, not acquaintances, people you know. We know everybody when you go out, but to have real friends and stuff like that. It also tells you she's very deep, very unique, very sensitive, like to do things in her own special way. But I would say that for the most part, this particular year for her, she's in her power cycle. She's in an 8 personal year. And what I did, for those that may not remember, I took the month and day she was born, added it to the year in question right now, 2021, and she's in an 8. So that represents money, power, authority, achievement, recognition. It rules births, marriages, pregnancy, separation, divorce. Now I'm looking at the year and I know the pregnancy part, she's not relating to that. But don't forget, numbers are often symbolic too. She may give birth to an idea, birth to a plan, birth to a project or endeavor. Or she may go to a baby shower or a wedding or christening or something of that nature. You see what I'm saying? So these things are very much on point of what they do. So everybody, I want to thank you. But in closing, okay? And first of all, I want to thank everybody on the chat. For people that want to know, I do have, please go to my website, lloyd-strayhorn.com, okay? And you will get to see, when you click on learn, lloyd-strayhorn.com, excuse me, I want you to sign up for the free monthly newsletter. I have a partner in Detroit, Kaya French. She and I do the monthly forecast. So the forecast for August is out. Now, I'm late. It's all my fault. I can't play nobody. I have to take my responsibilities. At least that's how my parents raised me. I will do better for September, I promise you. But this one was something else. So all of the weight is on me for this one. But it is out now. So I would like for you, if you want to go to lloyd-strayhorn.com, or for those that know, Kaya French in her neighborhood is KYAFRENCH, KayaFrench.com. And you can get her, it'll say hers will be Kaya and Lloyd, mine says Lloyd and Kaya. But the point is, we collaborate. It's been about, I think, a year. And so we get kind of like really nice responses. So it's absolutely free. But you must go to either of our sites, sign up. It is free. You leave your name, but you got to leave your email. You can leave your birthday too if you want to. That's great. But if you don't leave your email, we cannot send it to you free. Okay? Then if you want to go further down and sign up for my course, Learn from Lloyd How to Read a Person Like a Book. So you can learn how to do this. Now, if you're saying, well, can I be good as me? Yeah, but you're going to have to put in some work, okay? Because I had to put in a lot of work, but boy, did it pay off in more ways than I can ever imagine. So I would like for you to sign up for the course. It is worth your while. And in fact, I think I got a clue that it's on sale now. And in fact, you can get both the beginners, intermediate, and advanced for less than a lunch for two. Seriously. Now, if you wait, you're going to have to come up with someone. You're going to have to, go deep in your pockets. But if you go to my website, sign up now, you will get, and you own them. You'll get a certification saying that you took the course, completed the course. One is Learn from Lloyd How to Read a Person Like a Book. And the other one is Learn from Lloyd, the next step in numerology. And I got to thank one of my very special ladies, Jackie Levine, that put that together. That sister is awesome, but she's a Taurus. And she's going to be one of the guests I'm going to have on in the future, too. Believe me, giving props where props are due. And let me see what else. Online course books, media sites. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Clubhouse. I'll be smooth later on. I won't be looking at notes, but right now I got to look at some notes. Okay, so bear with me. Also, share, like, and subscribe. That'll be good. And on Wednesday, we'll be talking about the rulerships. And before we go, about my books. People have asked about the book, so let me tell you this. Okay. This is the Bible. Okay, this is the book that got everything started for me. Numbers and You, a numerology guide for everyday living. Okay, then this is the other book too, Lloyd's Book of Numbers, which is an update of this one. Okay, all right. Now I got to be honest. I've had a very, it's always nice to know that when you've done something and you've done the work, that there's recognition for it. There's a website, and in fact, I will show it to you when I close. It indicated the top 100 best numerology books in the world, according to world leaders in the field, readership, attendance, monies, and it went from 1 to 100. It ranked in order from 1 to 100. This ranked number 8, and this ranked number 32. Not bad. And let me tell you this. Where is it? My brother, King Simon, so we can't leave this brother out. His book was ranked at number 30. Numbers are simple, people are complicated, by Brother King Simon. He is my brother in spirit and everything else. And I always loved his titles. Numbers are simple. That's true. It's you people that are complicated. Nothing personal, but it's really true. Okay. But Numbers Are Simple by King Simon. And to his credit, he's now written his 4th book. Okay. Numerations for Mental Stability. Everybody should get this book. It's in hardcover and softcover by my brother King Simon. All right. And by the way, you'll see that all the people that I've interacted with, I encourage to write books and whatnot. And one more thing, this here is the workbook that goes with the online course when you take it. Do sign up. I think it's on sale today and tomorrow, and maybe about 1 or 2 more days, but don't fool around. Don't wait till the last minute. Get both of them, own them, okay? Learn, take your time. And this hopefully will help you. And relationship books, Cosmic Blueprint to Happiness and Joy. So these are the books that I published, and I want to thank everybody. And let me show you before I go so you can see. And it's a real nice compliment. I want to thank everybody very much. And here we go. So everybody, I'm going to... Okay, so everybody, I want you to sign off. So everybody, thank you very, very much. I look forward to talking to you Friday when we have part 2 of Numbers and Their Rulerships, because it rules more than just what I told you about. And again, have a pen and paper ready, and either learn how to screenshot your what you see on there, and also or either take it by the phone. But this way, or preferably, actually, you should buy the book, okay? But everybody, I want to thank you very, very much for joining us. This is good. This is good. So everybody, have a blessed day. I am signing off until Wednesday, okay? The 11th, and I'll see you then. Peace.